Welcome into another video. This time we're going to try to solve all the questions surrounding the curse in Tennessee. Let's get it. We are starting this video way back in 1998, where this curse began. Yancey Thigpen was a star wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers before coming to the Titans in 1998. His last season with the Steelers, he posted 79 receptions for 1,398 yards and 7 touchdowns. Also keep in mind, he was a 2-time Pro Bowl player. The curse struck Thigpen hard. He ended up with an injury-riddled time with the Titans, posting 38 receptions for 493 yards and 3 touchdowns in 9 games in 1998. And he ended up after 3 seasons with a mere total with the Titans, having about 91 receptions for 1,430 yards and 9 touchdowns. And mind you, that's 3 seasons. So 2 years after bringing in Thigpen, the Titans decided to spread this curse to another 2-time Pro Bowler and Offensive Rookie of the Year player in Carl Pickens. Even though some say Pickens was on the decline the year prior to coming to the Titans, Pickens still managed to put up 57 receptions for 737 yards and 6 touchdowns in his last season with the Bengals. In his first year with the Titans, he was embarrassing, posting 10 receptions for 242 yards and 0 touchdowns. The Titans weren't aware of the curse just yet and waited 6 more years to make another splash wide receiver signing. In 2006, the Titans made a huge splash and signed Tom Brady's favorite target in David Givens. Givens was a 2-time Super Bowl winner and was extremely productive for the Patriots, posting 59 receptions for 738 yards and 2 touchdowns the season prior to coming to the Titans. The Titans' curse was devastating for Givens because after 10 games, he suffered a career-ending knee injury. In those 10 games, he only had 8 receptions for 104 yards and 0 touchdowns. The very next year, the curse struck again. In 2007, the Titans signed Eric Moulds. Moulds dominated as a Bills receiver before moving to Houston and eventually signing with the Titans in 2007. His year previous with the Titans, he recorded 57 receptions for 557 yards and a touchdown. Moulds lasted just 1 season with the Titans before retiring, posting 32 receptions for 342 yards and 0 touchdowns. A few years later, Randy Moss came to town in 2010. His previous season with the Patriots, he put up 83 receptions for 1,264 yards and a league-leading 13 touchdowns. Randy Moss was a future Hall of Famer, and what he was able to produce for the Titans was 100% curse-worthy. He played in 8 total games and had 6 catches for 80 yards and 0 touchdowns. Just absolutely shocking. Now let's move along to another 6 years where they signed Andre Johnson in 2016. At this point, the Titans have to be thinking that the curse thing isn't really real and Andre Johnson can make sure that all of this speculation goes away for good, right? Well, wrong. Andre Johnson was a Texans wide receiver legend. He dominated year after year. Johnson spent a season with the Colts prior to joining the Titans and had 41 receptions for 503 yards and 4 touchdowns. During his lone season with the Titans, he had an abysmal 9 receptions for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. It seems at this point the Titans always seem to sign a receiver for the last hoorah in the NFL. Now we keep on chugging along to 2019 when they signed Adam Humphries. Humphries was a very productive wide receiver for the Bucs. In his last season with them, he had 76 receptions for 816 yards and 5 touchdowns. Coming over to the Titans, he posted 37 receptions for 374 yards and 2 touchdowns. He ended up with a concussion in 2020, which ended his stint with the Titans. In 2021, we have our latest example of the Titans' curse when they bought in Julio Jones by trading a second-round pick for him. Jones was on top of the NFL for many years as a dominant force for yardage with the Falcons. Even having injuries with his last season with the Falcons, he still managed to put up 51 receptions for 771 yards and 3 touchdowns. With a single season with the Titans, he had 31 receptions for 343 yards and a touchdown in an injury-riddled season and was later released from the team. So the question remains for Robert Woods, who is the 2022 version of the wide receiver they are bringing in to be their guy. Last season, it was a short season for Woods with the Rams as he suffered a torn ACL in Week 10. He was still able to put up 45 receptions for 556 yards and 4 touchdowns last season before the injury. The question is, will he fall into the same wide receiver trap as many wide receivers before him? You see, that question is going to be answered here in 2022. The question I have for you is that do you have the guts to draft Robert Woods in 2022? Leave a comment below. Let me know if you are looking to draft Robert Woods in 2022. As always, thank you for watching the video. Leave a comment below. Hit that subscribe button so you can see all the content we're going to be putting out. We can't wait to see you guys next video. Take care.